What's up, y'all? Thanks for checking out the channel. My name's Sean. I'm a part-time reseller on eBay, and I've got some items that I sourced over the weekend, and I want to share them with you. Maybe you guys can find this in your local thrift stores or when you're out garage sailing, and you can post them on eBay and get a sale and make some money. This is from Saturday. My wife and I went to garage sales in the morning, and then Friday I went to some thrift stores. Let's start with this sweater here. This is a green wool sweater. This is 100% pure new wool. It's called Carreg Dawn. So this is from Ireland. I don't know if it focused or not. And yeah, it's like a chunky knit wool sweater. Looks great. You know, I paid, I think it was $3.99 for this at a Goodwill. Now these sweaters are like kind of back in style, but if you ever see 100% wool, or you see like made in Ireland or the US if it's vintage, you're going to want to look out for those. Now, the sell-through rate on these, I don't think it was like crazy high, but it was going for decent money. Any of the items I pick up has to sell for, you know, at least $25 plus shipping. You know, sometimes I'll accept $20 plus shipping, but for the most part, I want to be at like $30 for my average sale price. And this sweater is going to make the cut on that. Really cool. You know, it's going to be great for Christmas. I don't know what size. Oh, it's a 2XL. I didn't even notice it was that big. It's definitely over a pound, so it's going to go priority, but, you know, I use pirate ship if I can't fit it in, like, one of the flat rates envelopes or mobile mailers, which this one's pretty big, so it would be a little tough to fit in those, but nonetheless, a great pickup. Yeah, people will buy these year-round because it's cold in different places all over the world, but definitely a good pickup. So one of the things I do as well, whenever I go sourcing, I put my items that I'm about to list here on this rack. This is one of the rolling racks. It used to be my only rack, and I had my storage tubs on here, but I've since changed to a storage system in the garage. I use the heavy Husky racks, and I use the boxes from Uline that fit perfectly on those racks. As far as this goes, this is in my eBay like office. I separate them based on like tops, like long sleeves, short sleeves, and then men and women's jeans, and I set them on piles here, so that whenever I'm listing at my photo station to my left, I'll be able to just grab the item and start listing. And once you do a lot of the same style of items, you can start picking up your speed and you can get more items posted that way. Next up, we have this polo by Ralph Lauren. This is a 3XL. It has the pocket here, and it's like a lavender color with some vertical stripes. Now, when it comes to Ralph Lauren polo, like, honestly, the more I look at this, the tag doesn't really even look like the tags I've seen before. I imagine it's legit, but I'm not really sure when it comes to like which ones are real and which ones are fake, but I know that the bigger sizes sell a lot faster and for more money. And I may do some research. Whenever I do research on these, I'll look at comps and try to find like the exact tag, because they have a lot of different tags. This one, I guess it's possible it's fake. I'm not really sure. But I sell these all the time. Right before I started this video, I sold one for $20 plus shipping, which is the lower end. But, you know, I typically pay like $3 for shirts like this. But yeah, that has a pretty good sell-through rate for 3XL. I think the one I just sold was a 4XL tall, so that's even better. Next up, we have this Carhartt fire-resistant long sleeve, and this is a 4XL. So I was at one of my local thrift stores, and I found a lot of 4XL shirts. I found 4 Ralph Lauren polos, not this one, but some that I picked up last week, and this was also in that batch. Now, when it comes to fire-resistant material, most brands are going to have decent comps and sell-through rate on their FR. There are some that are like a lot less quality. You know, like Wrangler would probably be like towards the middle to bottom of quality, and then there's one that I think it's called Lapco. That one is actually pretty terrible. Like, I've picked them up and the comps aren't very good at it, but they aren't very good. But when it comes to Carhartt or Bulwark or some of these other Ariats, those are going to be where your money's at. This item here, I'll probably list it for $29.99 plus shipping, so the buyer would be in at around, I do $6.95 for shipping now. I've recently changed from free shipping to charging shipping, and I was listening to Tommy Bernhard and Tracy. They were talking to the gentleman from Thrift Alive, and something kind of struck with me. Like, yeah, it makes sense to charge shipping whenever you're running sales, because the eBay won't deduct the shipping costs on the sale. They'll just do the price of the item. Well, I never run sales in my store, so I always thought, that's kind of a moot point. However, when it comes to returns, if somebody wants to return this shirt, I'm going to refund them the cost they paid for the shirt. I'm not going to refund them the shipping. And from some people I've talked to, that works out. People don't ask, oh, well, what about the shipping cost? And that would save me, $5 to $7 on every return transaction. Now, I don't get a lot of returns, but they do happen. I get maybe 1 or 2 a month. So this Carhartt FR4XL, I didn't look up the exact comps. I may be able to go higher with it. Now, I've sold an Ariat fire-resistant shirt for $50. Carhartt isn't exactly as great of a brand as Ariat. I have sold one of the Ariat fire-resistant shirts for $50, but I think this could come in at $35 to $40. So I may list it a little higher and then come down from there, especially because the size is a rare size. Alright, so I was just dogging Wrangler. Alright, if the camera changed a little bit, it's because I changed to my tablet. My GoPro is like turning off a little bit. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. I'm going to charge the battery up on it, but I'm going to roll the rest of this video on the iPad, so let's get into it. Now, I was just dogging Wrangler. I did pick up this pair of Wrangler jeans. This is a style of Wrangler jeans that I haven't sold yet, but I looked up comps for one time and it looked pretty decent. It's a regular fit 47 NWZ. Now, I picked this up, one, because the tag size says 36-36, which I know 34 length inseam is like the premium inseam to have. I imagine that this is going to be a little shorter than 36, so maybe it'll hit that 34 right on the head. And I say that because some of the cheaper brands, they don't have accurate sizing on their labels. They'll be like 2 inches off. I sold a pair of Levi's today, actually. Well, I sold it a few days ago, and I had a return request for the jeans. Now, the jeans were size 34-34, but I actually measured them 32-32, and the person sent a photo of the jeans, and it was just of the back tab that said 34-34. And they hadn't even opened the clear poly bag of the jeans. So instead of accepting the return, I messaged the buyer, and I said, hey, did you try these on? Because in the photos, you can see where I measured it to 32-32, and the person, like an hour later, messaged back. They didn't even message back. They just closed the case, and I guess they just kept the jeans because they found out they fit. Now, I've gotten in trouble with a pair of jeans where I listed them as 34-34, and then in the condition, I would put the actual measurement, and the person got the jeans and said, hey, this isn't accurate to what you said, I want a refund. So now I'm just putting it based off of the actual measurements. Now, a little note just on that, if you decide to do that, if a jean is like a 29.5 waist, you might be better off just putting it as a 30 waist, because nobody is searching for 29.5 whenever they're searching jeans. They're usually going to type 30-32 or 30-30. They're going to use like those even numbers. Like sometimes they won't even search for the odd numbers. So I've noticed on a couple of my listings that have 0.5s for the waist or inseam, they're not getting as much traffic, and people aren't, clicking or searching for that. So that's a little thing. But anyway, these jeans right here, I call it $30 on these jeans. I'll probably list them at $24.99 plus shipping, which I charge $6.95 for shipping. And most of the time, they'll either just buy it outright, or they'll offer like $20 plus the $6.95 shipping, and that'll put you at like almost $27. So that's kind of fine, for a pair of jeans. I pay $3.99 for these jeans at my thrift store, and yeah, I'm trying to do a lot of jeans because they're nice and easy to list and easy to fold and pack away in the boxes. Alright, we got another pair of jeans here. These are another pair of Wranglers. It's the rugged wear, and the reason I bought these is because they have the fleece lining. Anytime you see jeans that have like flannel lining or fleece lining, anything lined, they're going to have a pretty good sell-through rate. And yeah, I haven't sold these before. They are kind of big, like, they're thick because they're lined, and they're going to be around the same price as those pants, probably a little more, I would say. But the sell-through rate on this is higher than those. And yeah, you still want to like size, buy the correct size. You don't want to buy like a 28 waist. You're gonna have a hard time selling that because there's just not many people that have like 28 waist, especially a man. But that was a pretty good pickup. Sometimes I like to try out like new brands. Now I do check sell-through rate on these. I only buy items if it's 100% sell-through. There has to be the same amount listed as sold in the last 90 days for me to feel confident that I want it sitting around in my storage, because sometimes items sit forever. Like some of the items I bought when I first started, I'm starting to just like discount them pretty much to break even, just because I'd rather, get them sold than to take them off of eBay. All right, I picked up a couple baseball gloves at this garage sale. I'm pretty sure this guy was an eBay seller. He had a bunch of like fishing reels, military stuff, baseball gloves, a lot of like groupings of items, which no one would have that much of the same items. So he was definitely a seller. This is a Rawlings. It looks like a softball glove. It's 14 inch. Really good condition here. On these gloves, I'm typically buying them if they have like leather here to strap the top of the wrist, because that's going to be more of like a grown person, like an adult glove. If it has like the Velcro or any type of adjustable like the buckle, they're typically a youth glove, and youth gloves don't sell for as much money. It's player preferred. I think this was like $45, like to $50 on eBay. So I paid $5 for it, And he had a whole box of them, and I only picked out the 2 best gloves that I found. So this is one of them, and since it's a little different of an item, I'm going to put it here next to this driver that I picked up on my Oklahoma City thrift haul. Yeah, I haven't listed the driver yet, just because you've got to have a box ready for it. If it sells overnight and you don't have a box, you're going to have a hard time figuring out how to pack that. Especially working part-time, I don't have like the luxury to kind of, have a few hours. I usually have about an hour to an hour and a half in the morning, to pack my items. All right, I also picked up some shoes. This is a pair of Crocs. It's a men's pair. It's camo and it has laces. That's the reason why I picked it up. Crocs, I found, for women don't sell that great, but the men sell for a little bit more money, and I think they sell a little faster. These are great for the lake. I considered giving them to one of my friends at the lake. He's into this kind of style, but I paid $3.99 for these, and these were actually selling for like $40 to $50. And yeah, these are a great little pickup. They're still going to go priority because it's over a pound, but I'm pretty excited for these because I really don't pick up Crocs that often, but I think these are going to sell for a lot of money. All right, another pair of shoes. These are the New Balance 577s. They look like grandpa shoes. So these are like walking shoes, and it says it right here. It says walking DSL2. It's the hook and loop or Velcro, So these are like new condition. I don't think these have even been worn. If I were to find a women's pair of these, I would have to look up pretty closely in the comps, because women's pair of these, they don't sell as well. Now the blacks typically sell a lot better than the whites, which is cool because I have a black pair here. It says absorb on the sole here. Another indicator that you picked up a good walking shoe, it'll have the roll bar technology across the bottom of the sole. And yeah, these are good money. I usually get $50 for these, sometimes more. This is a great size too. This is a 11.5D. So D is just like the standard size for width, but I paid $6.99 for these, and I'd probably pay like up to $10. I really don't like to pay more than $10 for any one item unless it's like a really good item, but excellent pair, and these usually sell pretty fast too. Let's see, we'll just stick in the shoe department. We have a pair of Brooks GTS 17s. This is a black and silver pair. I think these are going to do really well. Now, the size tag on both of these pairs of shoes are really worn. I can't see any of the US size, but I can make out 7.5 UK. So, and I can read the centimeters, which is 26.5. What I would do is go to Google and I would type in what is 7.5 UK to centimeters, and then that would tell me whether it's a men's or women's pair. And then for UK, a good rule of thumb is like one size above the UK is the US size. So this would be an 8.5 men's. I think when the UK sizes get a little bigger, it starts to get closer to the US, or maybe like a half size difference. So, don't quote me, but I typically, if I'm looking through shoes, like I typically want to buy like men's shoes because they sell a little bit better. And if that UK to US size is one size apart, I know that it's men's, So I paid $3.99 for these, and yeah, Brooks are pretty good sellers. The GTS is a newer model, and the treads were in pretty good condition. You can still see like the design on some of the lower ones around the middle of the foot. You can see that it's worn, but it's still pretty pronounced and thick. So yeah, not a whole lot of running done on this. I wish these were my size. Like if these were 10.5s, I'd wear them. Right now I have a pair of Brooks. It's these green ones, and they're actually a size 11, but they feel so good that I wear them anyway, and I do run in them. They feel great, but I definitely want to find a 10.5 pair of Brooks. Oh yeah, and on the price for those, I'll probably list them at $39.99 plus shipping. So the buyer will be in at around 45 bucks. Right next to those, I found another pair of Brooks. This is the GTS. It's the Adrenaline GTS 15. So an older pair. These are a lot more worn, and they're almost kind of stiff. Like it doesn't even feel soft. So I'll probably have to price these lower. I should have looked at them a little more closely, but still a really cool color. So hopefully somebody will buy these, you know. And Brooks are one of those things that they're really flooded, you know. So I'll probably price this lower and, you know, try to get it out the door quicker. But it's just kind of like I saw those and I picked these up because they look good on the sides. But yeah, the more I look at it on the center here, they're kind of worn down. But, you know, Brooks are a pretty solid shoe. And a lot of people, in my opinion, will buy a used pair of Brooks on eBay because they want to test them out to see if they want to spend like the full amount to buy like a brand new pair, because, you know, they're quite a bit. They're quite a bit if you buy a new pair of Brooks. All right, so this is a great pickup here. This is a Black & Decker drill charger, battery charger, and I know what you guys may be thinking. Black & Decker is not that good of a brand. It's kind of a mid-grade brand. I mean, even on the end of lower quality. Now, I went to a thrift store and they had this charger, and then they had a DeWalt charger. Now, you would think the DeWalt charger could command a lot more money, but because so many people buy DeWalt items, the older DeWalt chargers, one, those batteries aren't as good, and two, there was like, I think 220 of the old DeWalt chargers listed, and I think 150 had sold, and they were going for like $15 to $20. This one, on the other hand, I don't remember the exact numbers on them, but there was much more sold than listed. I think there was like less than a dozen listed, but more than like, I don't know, like 20 or 30 sold. Not really quite sure, but they were going for a lot more money. And my only assumption is maybe they stopped making this because, you know, they've upgraded or changed. This is the I don't know. It says PS1 MVC, so not really sure what type of drill this goes to for them. I don't really use Black & Decker except for their sanders because they're cheap. But yeah, I'm actually going to list this for $39.99 plus shipping because it'll bring in, you know, around that much money. So great pickup. Always check comps. They're pretty easy to check. All you got to type in is the brand, and then they always have the model like on the back. Now, I don't know if this works. So I've gotten in trouble where I've sold a charger plus a battery, and then it shows that it's charging, and the person says, hey, the battery doesn't hold a charge, which is, it could be true, you know, maybe it looks like it's charging, but it doesn't hold the charge. I'm pretty positive this is going to work. One way you could test is to plug it into an outlet and put a multimeter and check the leads. I'm not even going to go that far because what probably happened is somebody upgraded their tools and they just said, like, just take this. I don't even have this anymore. Maybe the batteries are dead and I can't buy them, but somebody out there is looking for this, and I'm going to make a little bit of money on it. I paid $5 for this. I got this plus Mediterranean Diet for Dummies book for $5 from that thrift store. It's more like a mom and pop thrift store, or like I think it's like a religious group, and they pretty much just ask what you want to pay for it. So I felt like $5 was a pretty solid price for this, and they threw in the book for free, so it worked out. All right. So I picked up this Stearns Vintage Life Vest. This is from the 80s. It's like a fisherman style because of all the pockets. Now, it's kind of gross. It has this big stain in the back, and it's, you know, it maybe sat in oil or something. Nonetheless, these life vests, especially now that like summer is rolling around, people want like something different at the lake, you know. They want to like stick out. You either have like a cool swimsuit or you have like a nice boat or a jet ski. Well, this is a nice little touch, and people will pay up to like $50 to $60 for some of these vintage ones. This is a men's XL, I believe, and yeah, it's an extra large. If this was like a medium or a large, I probably would just wear it because it is that cool. Nonetheless, I'll probably list it for $49.99 plus shipping, and I paid $5 for this, and this was at kind of like a rummage sale. that I go to every now and then. All right, in the season of vests, we have this Icon multi-spec vest. Now, I was gonna pass on this vest. I went to a garage sale and a gentleman had a motorcycle jacket and a pair of Vask boots, which I'll show you in a minute. And he wanted $5 for this vest, and I looked up the comps and it was only going for like 17 plus shipping, so about $25 is what most people are getting for these. And that's really like, if that's the max it's gonna sell for, I don't want to pick it up. I want it to at least sell for like 30, and then I'll accept 25 if that's the case. But if somebody offered 20, I wouldn't want to list this to take 20 if I spent 5, because it's just not worth my time. It's pretty sweet. I've worn it, and I like it. You know, it's pretty cool. But anyway, the only reason I picked this up is because he said I was interested in the motorcycle jacket, which is right here. It's this Kawasaki padded motorcycle jacket. He wanted $10 for this. So I was like, you know what, I'll buy the jacket, but I don't want to buy the vest. And he said, you know what, just take the vest too. So I got both the jacket and the vest for $10. This Kawasaki, it's a men's large. It's made in Korea. It's got this awesome orange and black color, which, you know, Harley pretty much commands the orange and black, but it's still a great color combo. It's got the pads in it. It's in really good shape. The zippers all work, which is something you need to look for on these jackets. The pads are in here. This is probably like, I would say a $60 jacket, maybe $75. I'll probably list it at $75, and it doesn't fit really well for my storage and my inventory system because most of my items are jeans, shirts, and shoes. But I have a closet here, and I'll probably put it in the closet and just hang it on a hanger. It's a large, and I don't know, if I get like a little bigger, maybe I can rock it in the wintertime. It's a cool jacket. Like, I'm not a motorcycle guy, but like, I love like how it's looking, you know. It's got that, it's not leather, you know. If it was leather, it'd go for a lot more money, but it's great, man. I love this jacket. So yeah, combo on those, you know, that's cool. And then he also had this pair of Vask boots. Now, I think, let's see, it says 8. I think these are the women's pair. They're a little like, I don't know, they're a little old feeling. And I've sold this exact pair for $40 before. The laces are in really good shape. It could be a men's pair. I don't know. I'd have to like look at some of the comps and maybe measure like the inside of it to see. But Vask is a really excellent hiking shoe brand. I've sold plenty of Vask. I don't see them all the time, but I definitely pick them up when I see them. So I paid $2 for these boots, and they'll likely command 30 to 40. I mean, you know, somewhere around the neighborhood of that. If it's a men's, it'll probably go for a little more. If it's a woman's, you know, it may go for like a little less. But yeah, the leather Vask boots, if you find those, definitely pick them up. I've sold those for like over $100 before. Got the Vask boots. We're gonna put them there. This is actually a liner for that motorcycle jacket. It came off Kawasaki right there. So yeah, it's got this little liner to it too. Alright, so same deal. I picked up another pair of Brooks. I guess I got all 3 of these at that thrift store. These are the GTS 15s. Really awesome color. You know, I like blacks, grays. Yeah, looks really cool here. Unfortunately, it's not my size. I think the same runner probably donated all his shoes at the same time, and I decided to pick this up. It has these fuzzies here, which can be a problem, but there's these little shavers you can get from Walmart, and it takes care of those right away. They're kind of cheap little shavers, but you could probably use like a razor, like, you know, like to shave your face. You could use that in here, but I use this other battery-powered shaver, and it takes care of these. These are probably the second best shoes. Like, the first pair of black and grays were the best. This is next to it, and then those blue ones are probably the worst. But yeah, $3.99 on these. Probably get $30 all day long, maybe a little more, maybe $40. All right, I got some more jeans here. These are Wrangler 20X. So I've never picked up these 20Xs. Like, I guess I was kind of dipping into the Wrangler world. So these have like a longhorn on the leather patch here. It's got a 20X style 33 Extreme Relax. I think I picked these up just because of the 33. Like, there's a chance they're close to the 34 length, but they might be a 32 because they usually shrink a little bit. Pretty good pair of jeans here. The sell-through rate was pretty high on them, so I was going to take a chance on them for $3.99. The backs kind of have that stylish looking pocket. You know, it's kind of a good indicator. And everywhere where there's a little stud here, they got the Longhorn on it. Same with the button here to close them. So it's a pretty cool jean, you know. And there's a lot of Wrangler, Carhartt, Ariat items here in Texas. There's a lot of guys working outside, you know, and they need good quality work gear. So I find a lot of it and I sell a lot of it. Next up, we got a pair of Levi's. These are Levi 559s. The reason I picked these up is because they looked a little bit old and they're black. Sometimes the black ones do pretty well. It's got like this different color tag too. Usually it's like a bright red. And yeah, I picked them up. The 559s are pretty good. The 560s are really good for men's. The 501s, double X's do a little bit better. And then anytime you find 34 length, that's good. These are massive. So yeah, they're probably one of those that's like maybe a 42 by like 32 or something. So I don't know. These are one of those ones that I list for $29.99 plus $6.95 shipping, and yeah, pretty bread and butter right there. All right, so I also got this pair of Mountain Hardwear. Now these are just a pair of khaki, and it looks like they're not cargo; they're just straight ones. It's got a pretty cool button here, and Mountain Hardwear, I think I had sold them in the past. I did check comps on these, and they met my threshold of like, you know, whether or not to buy them. But for $3.99, I was just kind of hitting up like the common items that I like to sell, and I can usually list 10 pairs of jeans pretty quick. And that's kind of what I like to do during the week. You know, if you're tired, like go to your strengths. You know, if you're really good at listing shirts, go to your shirts and just kind of knock those out. And then on a day that you have a little more energy, maybe tackle some of the shoes or the different items like the gloves and, you know, incorporate those, because I do find myself selling shoes for a little bit more money than the jeans. But the jeans are just so quick and easy to pack and ship. It's hard to stay away from. It's kind of what I'm trying to build like the base of my eBay store with. This is a great glove. This is a TPX Omaha Pro. And yeah, it's Louisville Slugger. Really great, you know, it's 11 and a half and 7.5 inches, which is a little rare. Most of the times they're like 11 inches, 11 and a half. Excuse me. This is an infielder's glove. I love the feel of it. Like, I may actually use this to play catch with because it just feels good. It's broken in really well. It's a great brown color. You know, I'll put the leather conditioner if I really want to spice it up for the store. Definitely like a $40, $50 glove, maybe a little more, I'm not sure. It's got some great webbing here. All the laces are here. Sometimes these will be gone or they'll be cut and then you have to repair it. Excellent baseball glove here. Now that, you know, baseball's, it's kicking back up, man. It's one of my favorite sports to play, but I don't like to watch it as much. I'm big into football, watching football, you know, throwing the football around, but throwing the baseball around and hearing the pop, like it brings back so many memories. It's almost like mowing a lawn, you know. You just, the smells and the sounds and everything, it's the things I kind of grew up on. So definitely a great pickup. This is from that one garage sale. I paid $5 for this. Yeah, I mean, it's a tremendous pickup. Like, it really is. Okay, so I picked up a pair of Justin boots and actually sold a pair of these for $40 today. These I paid $1 for, and looking closer at these whenever I got them in the car, the reason he sold them for $1 is because it's kind of like torn up in the sole here. It's a little worn out, but for $1, like this Justin boot, I believe it's a woman's too. Yeah, it's a woman's 8.5. So, you know, there's women working on ranches and stuff, and it's a good work boot. It's got that nice leather look to it. I probably won't put the conditioner and all this on it. I'm almost debating on not even listing it. I may just put it in my garage sale pile. I usually, whenever I make a mistake on a buy, I'll put it in a garage sale pile. If it's got too big of a defect, I don't think this will be too bad of one. And, you know, if you look at it here, like, it's a little cruddy, but these are like cheap inserts. And if I have like another insert, I may just throw a new insert in because, you know, I've picked up shoes where something's really torn or bad and I can't repair it with the shoe glue, and I'll take the laces off and I'll take the inserts out, and I'll just have like a little stockpile. Not a lot, but you know. So I think I may have some that fits these, but yeah, I'll probably do something with them. Maybe list them. I mean, they're still a great boot. I want to list them for $29.99 plus shipping because you can't really ask too much more for them. All right, got some more clothes here. Hang on a minute. All right. Come on, Dean. The dog. He's getting restless out there, not being around his master. Anyway, I have this giant polo here. This is a Duluth trading company. It's called a long-tailed. It's a 2XL. It's a pretty nice little bluish turquoise, robin's egg maybe. Nice big buttons too. So, you know, I paid $2.99 for this shirt. These shirts will go for like 25 bucks, and because it's a 2XL, it's gonna sell fairly quick. Like, I may even ask a little more for this. I always double check comps. Like when I'm doing my listings, I don't necessarily like build a title for these. I'll just type in, you know, if I really need to research it, I'll type in like a broad. I won't narrow it down to like color or you know, anything like that. But I'll search and see what the sell-through rate is, and depending on the price of it, I can kind of get a good idea. If I want to get a little more specific, I'll type in the size. And at the very end, I'll type in as much features as I can to kind of get one pretty close. And then usually I'll just add in like the color or something like that. So for this one on the title, I would put like Duluth Trading Co. Longtail T 2XL men's used, and then see what pops up, and I'll do sell similar on a good listing that has a title that's already right there. And you know, it's pretty good. Now, the only thing that would be a little faster than that is if I already had one of these listed in my store. And then I would just go to my store and I would type in Duluth, and then I would find the exact polo, and I'd sell similar off of my own item. In that case, I would only have to grab the photos from my little photo bank, put in the photos, and then change the color and maybe the size, and that would be it. So that's the ideal situation for listing, in my opinion. Nonetheless, $3 on this shirt is probably a $25 or a $25, $30 shirt all day long. Alright, I got another clothing item here. This is a Brooks Brothers, and I typically don't pick up Brooks Brothers unless something's really cool about it. This one was a flannel, and I just don't come across many Brooks Brothers flannels. It may actually fit me. I may end up keeping this, but pretty cool, you know. I think their flannels are doing decently well. I always come across I come across their dress shirts when I do, and those I've noticed don't sell for a whole lot of money. This one is first class, so maybe it'll meet the threshold of, you know, that $25-$30, but we'll see. You know, worst case scenario, I'll try it on. It's 55% wool, 45% cotton, which I thought was cool, and it's got a really good feel to it. So it's a 16R on the neck, and I don't know. I wouldn't like button the neck anyway on this, but you know, maybe I'll wear this. It's a pretty nice light color. All right, we have a pair of jeans here. This is a so this is a Levi 577, and it's a women's pair of jeans, and it has like the old school tag. It's made in the USA. So I took that as being like vintage, maybe like garner a little more money. I don't know if garner is the right word to use in that instance, but maybe it'll demand more money, you know, because it is vintage. I don't even know what the 577 cut is. It says low rise, loose fit, 12. So, you know, it's kind of close to that plus size. Or just, you know, bigger on the regular size, but those just seem to bring in a little money. These ones, I don't think they had a lot listed, and I think the solds were kind of there. I don't know. Sometimes whenever I see something I haven't seen in a while, or at all, I'll kind of go for it. And if you can see here, the Levi tag is that same like maroon color, kind of like the black pair of men's jeans. So I don't have a lot of women's jeans, so I'm just gonna pile this with the men's. But I'll know right away when I look at the tag. I always have the item like near whenever I'm listing, because I want to look to make sure there's no flaws at the very end, and then I fold them properly and put them in the clear poly bag for storage. So I don't really get too confused with like the men and women's jeans. However, some women's jeans do have the sizing the same as the men's, which gets confusing. But all right, last two items are some electronics. So we start with this. Xbox 360 with the 60 gigabyte hard drive, which I don't know if I'll sell this separate. I may just sell it together. It actually has a game in here. It has Harry Potter Lego. And it came with 2 controllers, and these are the wireless controllers, and it's got the charger for the batteries. Both of them have the batteries. It has the power cable, like the power brick here, the charger for the controllers, and then I have this HDMI cord that was just laying around, so I'm going to bundle this with it because it doesn't have like the Xbox OEM deal that you plug in, you know, to convert with the AB, like the red, yellow, and white cables. But nonetheless, yeah, I paid $10 for this at a garage sale. A buddy of mine went to the garage sale and they wanted $20 for it, and he actually picked up like some really good audio equipment, like a $300 sound bar. And I got to the garage sale late, but I guess I got there late enough that they were ready to sell this. Now, I've sold these Xbox 360s for $40 for parts only. That means either like the trade-in open or it had the red ring. I've sold them for $40, so something like this, it is really heavy, so I'll have to pack it really carefully. But I don't know, maybe they're still going for like $75 to $100. I'm not entirely sure, but I do have a lot going for it because I have the controllers and I also have a game. You know, that means somebody can just buy it from my store and they can play it that day. A lot of times people will sell just the consoles only, they'll sell just the remotes, but when you have that total package, you know, a guy that wants to like get his kid something, or maybe he just wants to play it for himself or she, they can just buy this from my store, plug it right in, and they see that it works. I'm definitely going to plug it in and test it myself. You know, I did test the shutter, it opened, and you know, the red ring wasn't there, so definitely a great pickup for $10. And the hard drive, like I said, I could sell that separately. These hard drives are pretty desirable. Let's see. Last item is a VCR. VCR with the remote, I might add. This was $6.99 from a thrift store. It's a Philips. It's got the 4-head hi-fi. Really cool button here. I've never really seen this with the green. This one is a lot lighter. Definitely lighter than the Xbox. And you know, I tested this. I always carry a VHS cassette in my truck, and I'll grab it, you know, if I see one. I won't. Sometimes they have them in it. This one actually had a cassette in it, so I didn't have to go back to my truck, but I will take the time to go back to the truck and test it because I bought plenty of these that did not work. Very rarely, if the cassette goes in and out, it won't work like with something else. You know, if that checks the box, you're pretty good on it. So this one was comping for, I think, like $65 to $80. So definitely a great pickup. My dog Dean agrees. And yeah, that rounds out the sourcing for the past couple days. So my goal would be to get at least all these items listed, you know, and then I have a bathtub full of shoes that I still need to clean and list, which I've been putting that off. But yeah, that's the goal, to get these listed, and then I'll buy items throughout the week. I only have about 30 minutes to an hour per weekday to thrift because my thrift stores close at 6 and I work 8 to 5 repairing copiers. That's the life I'm living right now, and I'm doing pretty well. I actually may rival what I make working full-time with my eBay business, and hopefully in the future, I want to say, you know, starting next year I'll go full-time, but there's still a few key things that I need to buy for my business, and I'm probably going to make a video about those too. So if you enjoy this kind of content, if you learn anything, if you saw any item that you really like, or if you see this out in the thrift or at the garage sales, you know, maybe pick them up, maybe look them up, and I'll let you know if they sold. So I appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you in the next video.